What do we have here today? What has RimWorld blessed us with today? A group of tribes from the Octurians have arrived nearby. They will prepare for a while, then attack. Prepare defense or attack them preemptively. Number of raiders 12. Let's see here. Bows, arrows, pilas, spears, clubs. When will they learn that simple spears and bows cannot beat the firearm? The gun is always superior. And here they come. So let's get everybody ready. Everyone. Everyone! And then Kodiak, go right there. Weiss, where the fuck you need to. Oh boy, here we go. Nelson. Oh Jesus. So I wonder, you know, a tribals people is just kind of wondering how would a tribals be like if you were played a tribals game, or if we were a tribals, you know, band or group or whatever tribe, a tribal tribe. Nelson, researcher, has become, oh god. Nelson is verbally abusing Stovepipe 69. God damn it. Nelson, the fuck is wrong with you? Well, Nelson's gonna be left out there, isn't he? He better start coming back in here. So raid's gonna be going on, and he's just gonna walk all the way over here, into here, through here, to Stovepipe, and he's gonna be just verbally abusing him as he's shooting a whole bunch of tribals people. Brilliant fucking idea, Nelson. Hurry the fuck up and get in here. We still haven't repaired the barbed wire out here, which sucks. Not like we need it because we have all this slag and stone chunks. Hold on, I just realized something here. Not that loud. There we go. Sorry about that. This guy was named Wolfie as well, eh? Or Wooly, sorry. And Stovepipe just annihilated him. Oh, they managed to get a shot off, but you go down. Oh, Jesus. By the time they shoot one arrow, we've already just annihilated one of them. Yeah, it's just... How would a tribals people ever best... Oh, Jesus, Stovepipe. Calm the hell down there. Only kill when I say you need to kill. Hmm? 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 Alrighty then, well, Weiss, let's start capturing a few of these guys. Kodiak capture, Paragon capture, is that all that there is? That looks of it, yeah. Are you gonna bleed out before you even reach the edge of the map? This would be interesting to see. Consciousness poor, moving period poor, pain extreme, blood loss is moderate. It looks like they're gonna make it off. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who's the... Nelson, the fuck are you doing? You're gonna verbally abuse this person as they're bleeding out. Nelson is just gonna come over here. Oh, Jesus Christ, Nelson, you just got shot. Oh, for fuck's sake, Nelson. Oh yeah, now he's fucking off. Oh, just please, okay, well we finally got those two whatevers. Nelson, okay, apathy, Paragon. Oh god damn, here we go with this glitch again. Game, please. Not now, this is not the time. Holy shit, there we go. I hate it when it does that. That's becoming a recent thing, a recent current thing that keeps occurring. Why it's current. Current. Yes. Oh, you lost a wood out of that thing, isn't that lovely? I really wish we stopped butchering these xenomorph corpses. Like, I wish I could. Actually, let me go tell it to stop because it's just a waste. Animal corpses. Xenomorph, 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 xenomorph. Butcher animal corpses. Xenomorph, 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 xenomorph. Okay, then just tell them to start hauling this shit, because in all honesty, we don't need this in here. We don't need any of this in here. Haul urgently. Yeah, there we go. Because butchering a xenomorph does nothing except destroy the corpse. How's Franca doing? You're gonna be wandering? Hauling turkey meat? Okay. He's gonna go back to wandering. So for once, I finally have something to talk about, and that's sci-fi. Specifically, oh Jesus, jellyfish has gotten sick. Okay, well, Otis is healing to that. Now Weiss is having this glitch of having no. Okay, there we go. Needs. Well, yeah, that's not good. Oh. They start cooking more meals, but yeah, sci-fi names. Basically, specifically for nations, because there was this one video that I was watching by the Templin Institute, and the name of the video is Naming Your Interstellar Empire. And he was going over the certain names, and he basically was talking about how, galactic civilizations usually have the name, and they're usually named after their particular government. So, like Republic, Federation, Empire, and whatnot, monarchy, or some sort of thing. And he was like spicing it up because 1/3 or like 3/4 of the planet, our planet Earth, countries, are named republics. Some of them call themselves, other different republics, like constitutional republics, preliminary republics, and whatchamacallit, and something sort of like that, or just federal governments, constitutional. You get the idea. I already mentioned that one. But essentially, a republic kind of just stands for anything. Oh, Nelson has gotten sick. Well, Nelson, go tend to yourself, please. Nelson, are you still fucked in the head? Tend to yourself, please. Yeah, you didn't like getting shot in the bow. Maybe if you didn't go and verbally abuse somebody who is trying to kill you, you wouldn't have this problem. But he was going about technically a republic. And I don't really agree with this definition. There was a lot of definitions I didn't agree with in this video, but a republic is essentially anything that isn't ruled by a monarchy or dictator. And I'm like, no. But then he shoveled in a whole bunch of things like, there's People's Republic or Democratic People's Republic, and these are communist republics. And it's just like, there is nothing republic or democratic about communist governments. Sorry, mate, there just isn't. I think republics have to do with more of the individual, has to do with individualism and egalitarianism, whereas communist governments have to do with more of collectivism and authoritarianism, because you cannot have a collective without an authority. There is no such way to have individualism and a collective. It's otherwise basically a government by the people, for the people, with the people, or essentially everyone works for the state. But yeah, he said republics are kind of dumb because it's essentially anything that isn't a monarchy, and I'm like, no. Now, there's a big difference between democracy and republics as well, because a republic is just simply elected. Well, republics can be councils, they can be congress, they can be parliaments. and whatnot, or they're just essentially elected bureaucracy. Well, democracies are more of a mass vote sort of thing where the people vote for the issues and whatnot. And that's the problem, is that republics have been lumped in with representative democracy, or yeah. There's direct democracy and then representative democracy, where direct democracy, everyone votes on everything. And like the closest thing to that is kind of like something similar, or the closest thing to that would have to be Switzerland. That's like the closest thing to a direct democracy we have in today's world. You need a very small population to be a direct democracy, because with a large populace, there would be too many people with differing interests, basically, and they would. That's why we have representative democracy, is because people with different thoughts and ideologies will always try to exploit others, and that's where democracy is kind of iffy, because then it becomes mob rule. If you have too many different ideologies or whatever differences amongst the people, you need to have like a really singular entity of people. Nelson, I will wipe you the fuck off the face of the earth, Nelson, if you do this. You understand me? You don't know who I am, do you, Nelson? I have murdered the fuck out of people who have done this before. You do not kill the fucking dog. What did I say, Nelson?
What the fuck did I say?
You do not fuck with me. How's the dog doing, by the way? Doing good. Oh, Jesus. I should not have done that, because we kind of really need Nelson, because Otis is another little shithead. We have one simple meal. What does Otis decide to do? Eat a xenomorph? Okay, yeah, have fun with that acid blood. And then we have this go with no mood whatsoever. Your character needs. No, nothing. Ugh. But mostly the video is about him criticizing other like nations that don't make sense and whatnot. And it was mostly obscure shit that I've never heard of before, because he like mentioned Star Wars, which there was a stupid Star Wars in the expanded universe, which I think was the government that the rebellion implemented right after the Battle of Endor, which it was something like the Free Alliance of Planetary Federations, or the Federation of Planets of the Free Alliance, or something like that, which that name doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It's mostly somebody who's just like, make a cool sounding name, but make it, you know, actually what it's supposed to be. And he was criticizing empires as well, because empires, he says empires can't work because they're ruled by a single person. But then he goes about talking about feudalism and how it doesn't work in a sci-fi universe, that henceforth empires don't work. But then he mentions how despots work, and that's the big difference between a despotic state and a feudal monarchy, is that a despot is ruled by a despot. He's a single person that rules, you know, by himself. He makes every single decision in the nation. Whereas a feudal monarchy is just that, because we moved on from despots very quickly as kingdoms became just that, kingdoms, with duchies and then counts in between. As the kingdoms grew, there needed to be a system of hierarchy. Which he says that empires don't work, but then he mentions the Turians from Mass Effect, the Turian hierarchy, and says how this is a great name for an empire. And I'm like, what? And then he also says the Imperium of Man also is a good name because it just fits. And I'm like, eh? You just say empires don't work. Pipe, I know you're butchering everything, but can you refuel this and you could start cooking on that, please? Because we actually need more simple meals. And then you're going to be going out here to collect wood instead of coming in here where we have plenty of wood. Then you're going to be seeing all the dead corpses, and then you're going to get all the debuffs. Actually, you didn't see any of the dead corpses. Interesting. I like how Otis, like, he's up here with the mood, like he's okay with the mood. Like Paragon, but that's the thing, is that Otis has very, like, this is his break right there. Gloria's gone. Okay, we didn't need to know that. So yeah, and he mentions, feudal monarchy because he says, oh, because, there's, federation or republics are better because a government that's based off of merit instead of simply born in the right family would work much better, more efficiently. And I'm just like, there's the problem though. Feudal monarchy is not a despot where somebody singularly runs something. Feudal monarchies, you have a king, then you have dukes underneath that king, and then counts underneath the dukes. So and therefore. Of course, a king could have the title of duke if he owns a duchy, whether through conquest and then became a kingdom where he pronounced himself king, or was a, successor to a king, and he was a son that became old enough to be granted a duchy of himself, and then when the king died, inherited the title of kingdom. Feudal monarchies are very confusing like that. Pirate merchant. Okay, that's cool. Which means we could actually start selling all these people if we wish. Which I think we might shall. Stovepipe, do me a favor, go to the pirates. Prosthesis trader. We can't get a lot for all these people. Oh shit. Let me think here. Well, we could sell these cheap guns that are practically just that cheap. What the fuck? Try to sell as much money as we can here. Let's not sell the marine stuff, however. Let's try keeping that. Even though it actually does sell pretty well, let's keep it anyway. And they're going to be paying back us $209. Which, does that mean we could give up? We could actually not give them the beer. I'm perfectly fine with this. And so we just spent around $30 to buy somebody. Tony, hi there. You got pemmican on you, but let's see your character. Healthy, slowpoke, steady aim, psychically dull, nearsighted. That's not good. But you're a criminal surgeon and a pickpocket. Wasn't that lovely? You have 0 intellectual, but you have good medicine. So you shall become our doctor, since to replace Nelson, because, we kind of fucked up with that shit. We'll keep that 4. No, we'll do that 3. 4. No. Mining, we'll do 4 for that as well. Plant cutting is 1. Handling, we'll do, actually do 5 for this. That'll be good. Otis is our intellectual guy, but there's a whole bunch of problems we need to fix with him first. Like so, yeah. We'll do that with Otis, so he's focusing on purely doctoring, and then well, he's gonna be going resting right now for some weird reason. Wise is gone. Stop eating the xenomorphs. Okay, stovepipe. I need you to cook this. And then he goes on criticizing, this, Star Wars, the Galactic Empire, and whatnot. And I was just like, well, that's the thing about the Empire is that the Emperor, yes, he may rule everything. He's the sole authority, and that he got into power because he had, emergency powers put onto him with the, by the Republic, where thus he wiped out the Confederacy of independent systems, and then with a strong military essentially took away power from the Republic or the Parliament, and became the Galactic Empire. But essentially, he says that empires fail because, and technically, the Galactic Empire in Star Wars does fail because his will or his power only emanates through his military. And that's sort of the thing, is that he doesn't really run the galaxy. He does, but his military does it for him. It's not simply him just doing it, it's his military. And wherever his military presence is, that's where he reigns. And if you read the extended universe, it goes into a whole bunch of things, because it isn't just him. He works well in hand with centralizing government, as well as, it's weird because in the core planets, he centralizes the government, and he even nationalizes wealth itself so that people work with the state. But then at the same time, he has corporate sector where corporations do reign in the empire, which that does bite him in the ass because some of the corporations just go to the rebellion, and that's how the rebellion gets like the X-Wing and whatnot. And there's a bit of benevolence as well as malevolence in the Empire, whereas essentially anyone who does not like the Empire gets wiped the fuck off the planet, but anyone who wishes to live in the Empire and live in peace and order is completely left to do so, whether it be human or alien. Even though I know mostly the Empire is portrayed to be very human-centric and exploitative of aliens, it's simply because the Empire's doctrine is that with the Galactic Republic and the Parliament system, that aliens merely just tried to exploit humans, and that humans, that the Galactic Republic, aliens tried to essentially only applied with their own interest, or, tried diplomacy in their own interest and not that of the Republic, which in itself was human-centric. And so the Empire simply removed that problem by merely creating a strong-arm military government or state, where it's essentially that you otherwise live in peace and order with the state, or otherwise you're exploited by the state, whether human or alien. And that was the thing, though, is that, it fell apart, obviously, because of the rebellion and a certain Luke Skywalker. But the reason why it also worked is simply because of that, the rebellion. Without peace and order in the galaxy, the Empire was needed, since there was such huge unrest, especially in the Outer Rim with pirates, that the Galactic Empire was a necessary evil, because it did create peace and order, despite it being a malevolent government. It granted benevolence, which is weird. And then with the rebellion creating that unrest, the Empire was necessary, and the unrest was necessary because if there was ever a lax, or, it was just peace and order was achieved, the Empire and the strong-arm military would never be needed. If you go far enough into the extended universe, however, you do realize the Galactic Empire was necessary regardless, because you'll read far into it enough that the Ujong Von invasion, which is essentially in the unknown part of the galaxy or unknown space, comes the Ujong Vong, and they come in to claim the galaxy as theirs because their prophets have said that their deities have, given this galaxy for them, since they've completely trashed their own government, or not government, planets and galaxy, that they need to live in another one. And they come in like an entire galaxy invades the Star Wars, the known galaxy in Star Wars. It's quite crazy. And you start reading that this is why the Death Star was made to begin with, because guess what? Their ships are essentially hollowed out planets. And that's why you need a planet killer. It's for this Ujong Vong, and that Palpatine had this power of clairvoyance all along and foresaw this coming, and this is why he needed to unify the galaxy. and whatnot. Yeah, essentially the extended universe, the Galactic Empire was the good guys all along. Go figure. Maybe that's why Disney destroyed the extended universe, because they couldn't have it where the Empire actually was a necessary, or not necessary, because to achieve a galactic order like this, what the Galactic Empire was just one way of doing it. There's so many ways, different ways of doing it. But that was just one way, the military way of doing it. Then he goes about on about Earth and whatnot, and how things like, you know, it's I don't know on how, if we ever became a spacefaring race, to touch in a little bit with sci-fi and away from the video, because that's what I kind of did a little bit a while ago. Let's speed through this. Yeah, the because I know in a lot of sci-fi, especially where it starts off with Earth going into space, especially, I'm finally reading the Halo sci-fi books, and I'm starting with First Contact Harvest, which was the first Halo book, starring Sergeant Johnson, probably the best character in the Halo series. You gonna have Terra clothes. Okay, then what is your, it's your bodysuit. Okay, then. Well, who's the best crafter, tailor that we got? Because I'm gonna have them. Tony, you're actually the best. Okay. Oh, what are you doing? You're gonna go cleaning? Okay. How about this? How about you try prioritize tailoring for us, Tony? Make yourself, since we bought you, we freed you from your slavery bonds after we made Nelson no longer exist in the space-time continuum. Prove yourself to us, Tony. Because, you know, the first thing is that, you know, they mention in the book, you know, Contact Harvest, that once humanity became a spacefaring race and started colonizing the galaxy and whatnot, or at least, you know, known planets like Harvest and, you know, Tribute and whatnot, that, you know, they immediately, that, you know, once humanity enters the stars, they necessarily need to unify as they would. And I'm just like, would they really unify? Would the United, you know, would a United Earth happen once we became a spacefaring race? Or would we just simply nuke each other until one of us came out on top? I don't think humanity could peacefully unify to become a spacefaring civilization. Because a lot of people say that, oh, you know, the United Nations becomes an official thing, and, you know, we become, you know, the United Nations becomes the global government, you know, the world order. And I'm just like, yeah, no, there's no way in hell that people are going to put their interests away, their self interests, and put that down for the rest of humanity. Because the second we do that, a lot of governments are going to be saying, well, we deserve to be the ruler of the world. From the smallest fry in some desert hellhole to basically the biggest nations on Earth with the biggest military powers. Oh, hey, well, good. Looks like putting it on growing, and actually was a good idea. Weiss has no growing, Tony has no growing, so we only got like 3 growers technically, and then Otis, you know, we have him doing other things, but right now he's gonna drink a beer. We got the cottons up here. Strawberries, corn, rice, and then this is, no, this is strawberry, corn, potato, and rice. Which, let's check growing for starters here, because I want to see if we can get some heel root going now. Almost. I think we need 8 for heel root. Let's actually, let's heel root. Yeah, we need 8, so shit. Alright, so we're going to keep up with the rice. Technically, I'm going to remove one of the cottons once we get the ability to grow heel root. Oh, and Weiss is cleaning. Good. They're finally cleaning. Things seem to be going smoothly now. How many meals have you cooked? 11. Okay, make pemmican forever, so yeah. Go do that. You're gonna continue butchering. Okay, that's fine too. You can butcher all you want. Let's actually start stripping these people. That sounds completely wrong out of context. And again, as well, I don't even know when we're going to become a spacefaring race because we still are very. It seems like, recently, or just like, we're still advancing in space technology, but it seems like as far as like getting out there, the space race is no longer a thing, is what I'm trying to get at. And it doesn't seem like it ever will be again. It's a very uncompetitive market right now, and beforehand it was nations competing against each other, but now it seems like the corporate sector needs to take over the private sector, the private market, the free market needs to take over with things like SpaceX. But the problem is, I don't think SpaceX has any competitors, but they're still doing very well, despite people, claiming otherwise, because they've had a few accidents. When SpaceX first started off, they really had a rough start, just getting rockets off the ground. It was like Kerbal. It was like, imagine this: SpaceX, when they first started off, was a real life incarnation of Kerbal Space Program. Which, if you haven't seen Kerbal Space Program, that's actually a pretty funny game. Takes in actual physics and whatnot, despite not being real world physics. It still takes physics, since it's its own world and whatnot, its own solar system. But it's very interesting. I wouldn't necessarily call it a completely realistic game, but it's definitely real enough to be taken seriously while still being a fun game that anyone can get into. Would I want to do Kerbal Space Program? Maybe. I'm too stupid to play Kerbal Space Program. It would be episodes of me basically trying to get to the moon and then somehow shooting myself outside the solar system. Because that's what I've usually done. Yes. How far are we? Okay, we've actually gone over the 30-minute mark. Oh boy. Well, if you enjoyed this episode of RimWorld, please let me know down in the comments below. There's going to be a second one coming out immediately after this one, because I'm doing the catch-up episodes where I upload 2 a day, one for the daily, and then one to catch for backlog. And then once the second one's uploaded, Papers, Please will be coming out. However, that's probably going to be coming out after the midnight mark again. Simply because I've been doing this at nighttime before I go to bed again, and that's not usually good for YouTube. Because everyone seems to like to upload at midnight or something like that. I don't know. I've tried looking at the reason of why the processing or uploading can be so slow with YouTube, and I haven't really gotten any results. All I know is from people what told me and what I've looked up on the internet is that a lot of people seem to have problems with YouTube. And that's been going on for a long time, because I've been around since, like, what? I think officially 2008, but I've been on YouTube since, like, 2006 without an account. So I've known all the problems of YouTube once they sold out to Google. Yeah. It hasn't been nice. It's been really a rough ride, and I don't know. That's a topic for another episode. Anyway, I'll be catching you in the next episode. Adios.